Thank you for all your input. Thank you for the support of the show. Really appreciate it from everyone. Patreon and PayPal subscribers too. So appreciate you. A couple of new ones. I'll recognize you on Monday. But now he comes and goes on a rainbow. How about it for the culture blaster, Michael Snyder?
Hey, hi, and speaking of high, it is the high holy days.
Oh, yes.
And of course, any day getting high is a holy day. I'm wondering,
is that how you get onto a rainbow because of because you're high?
well, maybe, by the way, I see you, man from the West 420 and Richard Delamater. I know what you guys are up
Where
to.
are my weed smokers at?
Yeah.
Anyway, I know I'm a couple days late, but I want to wish Lashana Tova to my Jewish friends and a Shana Na Tova to all the Jewish rock and rollers. I don't want to whip anyone into any kind of frenzy. Speaking of high holy days, but the annual Folsom Street Fair is on Sunday in San Francisco. Not for kids. There's going to be a lot of fun at the Cat Club there. I'm going to actually still be in Los Angeles, but I am heading back to SF this coming week, so we'll be doing remotes for at least a couple weeks.
All right.
I have a busy week.
Yeah, well, still, it'll be fun to go to that fair.
Well, I'm not going to be able to, but I know a lot of the freaks and geeks of San Francisco are going to be strutting in their finery. Let us talk about movies because Oscar season is upon us, I think.
Yes, sir.
I can feel it, particularly as befits these first two films that I'm going to discuss. One Battle After Another is another superb, deep, smart, funny, and provocative movie from one of the current masters of the cinematic arts, screenwriter and director Paul Thomas Anderson. From Boogie Nights to Licorice Pizza, this guy has been delivering fascinating films, and he oftentimes has a Southern California connection. And in this case, there's a little bit of that. But in a significant way, One Battle After Another is about fighting the power and the consequences and repercussions faced by those who do so for righteous reasons and the often brutal retaliation of those they oppose. So, sounds a little contemporary, timely. It's basically romping revolutionaries versus right-wing creeps. So in terms of the relevance, in addition to that, it's a thrill ride, It deals with politics, including the immigration issue, the rise of white supremacists, the puppet masters of oligarchy and all that. That's all kind of implied in a lot of this film. And it's also out front as well. There's family drama. There are scintillating performances with Leonardo DiCaprio and Sean Penn leading the parade of accolade-worthy actors. Let me get to the details, but I do want to say initially, before I get to that, One Battle After Another was inspired by a Thomas Pynchon novel, the 1990 book Vineland, and so was another Anderson movie, the incredibly underrated early 70s dramedy set in Southern California and based on Pynchon's Inherent Vice. This is a different beast. Bob, played by DiCaprio, is retired from his youthful underground activities against the machine, and he's hiding out, getting ripped, and trying to keep a bloodshot eye on his teenage daughter, Willa, whose mother, an unstable fellow rebel from back in the day, played by Tiana Taylor, has been missing and presumed dead for years. Meanwhile, Penn's Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw is in dogged pursuit of Bob and the ex-Perfidia, the woman played by Tiana Taylor, after a violent act of refugee liberation years ago humiliated Lockjaw. Plus, Lockjaw has a very unhealthy interest in the daughter, Willa. So the action here is on point. Sometimes hitting like a sucker punch, but always in the service of Anderson taking down the tyrants, essentially. And the satire here is sharp. It's seething with fury at the evil done by the powerful and the power mad. In some ways, One Battle After Another is about the perils of extremism and also about the strength and the drive instilled by family devotion. It's funny, as I was watching this, it didn't occur to me, but in the aftermath of the movie, I thought, there's a parallel or two with Les Miserables, with DiCaprio's character kind of a stoned Jean Valjean trying to escape his past and move on with his life.
Yeah.
And Penn's character as kind of an unhinged far-right Inspector Javert, coming after the guy and not relenting. Again, there are funny moments and there's action aplenty. This is a hell of a film. I do believe that DiCaprio and Penn are both going to get awards nods for their performances here. It crackles, as I like to say. And oh, by the way, Benicio del Toro plays kind of a lefty sensei who is the teacher of young Willa at a local dojo. And he's also kind of helping refugees come into the country on the sly and housing them. There are so many wonderful aspects to this film, and it is there's never a dull moment. Let's put it that way. So one
I talked
battle.
to somebody else who went to a screening who said that it was just perfect. It was just they loved it.
It's fantastic. One battle after another is in theaters this weekend, written and directed by the great Paul Thomas Anderson. One more quick note, casting-wise, Regina Hall shows up as one of the fellow rebels and holding on. Oh, and the young actress Chase Infinity is a revelation as Willa, the teenage daughter. It's great stuff. Okay. Eleanor the Great is a new film, and it's the first movie directed by Scarlett Johansson. And you don't want to just give her a mulligan because it's her first film.
What?
But, it's damn good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. There's a thoughtful script here, and Johansson is very able from the director's chair. And there are lovely performances all around in this film, led by the ever-sharp, gently funny, and surprisingly tender June Squibb, still getting it done in her mid-90s. I mean, she's remarkable. So it's just pretty wonderful. Bereft after the loss of her friend of 7 decades, Eleanor leaves her retirement home in Florida and decides to head to New York City, where her disapproving daughter and extended family lives. And Eleanor tries to rebuild her life in the time she still has. Through happenstance in this film, Eleanor finds herself stumbling into a therapy group for Holocaust survivors, connecting with this progressive biracial college kid who seems to bring out Eleanor's long-buried maternal instincts, which sure as hell aren't on display toward her own daughter. And Eleanor's going with the flow to the point where she may be washed away by what we'd call a torrent of her own making. Eleanor the Great is kind of about the question of how we process grief. The escapades of Squibb's salty, no-nonsense character are wildly entertaining, but there's no mistaking this tough shell shields a broken heart. Paired with Squibb's wonder of a lead turn in last year's Raya, geriatric undertakes a caper comedy, Thelma, Eleanor the Great cements her place as one of the great elder actors to command the screen in recent times. Squibb is something else. I'd never seen her before the Jack and Triumph sitcom she did with Robert Smigel a little while ago and Jack McBrayer. But man, she has incredible depth and
really likes it.
I did. And I know some people may have quibbles, but Eleanor the Great is in select theaters, and I do believe she's going to be in the awards conversation at the end of the year. Can't help but feel that's the case. Echoing the starkness of certain crime dramas set in desolate places, Dead of Winter works pretty well within its parameters while giving no less than Emma Thompson and Judy Greer opposing roles that are miles from their more comedic, crowd-pleasing endeavors. Emma Thompson, the renowned British actress, Judy Greer, an American. They're both playing Americans, and in fact, they're playing Americans from the Minnesota area. And I don't want to belabor the obvious. These women have range. So this is set in the frozen wilds of Minnesota, and the movie finds Thompson doing what could be construed as a characterization similar to that of Frances McDormand's folksy and plucky sheriff in Fargo, but all that changes in short order. Thompson plays Barb, and Barb is on a solo fishing expedition to a remote lake when a snowstorm puts her in the crosshairs of Greer's gun-toting bitch character and her compliant partner, who have a nefarious scheme in progress. And I don't want to get into the details of the scheme, because I think that would undercut the enjoyment of watching this movie. And it gets a little implausible at times, but it's very well crafted. And its fierceness and its momentum and the sheer energy and determination of Thompson's Barb make Dead of Winter a lot of fun to watch. It is in theaters. It was directed by Brian Kirk. And I had a good time. It's one of those entertainments at a little noirish quality, which is something I really, really like. That's Dead of Winter.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. All right. This is something of great interest to those of us in California, and particularly Northern California. The movie is called The Lost Bus. It's set during the terrible campfire of 2018, the one that devastated Northern California's Butte County, the community of Paradise, and the surrounding area. The Lost Bus basically dramatizes the true story of a busload of school kids being driven through the inferno as it escalates around them. It's as harrowing and as realistic a disaster movie as I've seen in quite a while, maybe ever. And it stars Matthew McConaughey, perfectly cast as bus driver Kevin McKay, a scruffy guy wrestling with family conflict and financial problems. And he is supported by America Ferrara as elementary school teacher Mary Ludwig. These two strangers are thrown together, and their mettle is tested when they're tasked with shepherding 22 children to safety as this unchecked wildfire rages around them. And people are trying to flee the conflagration. It's clogging the roads. This is craziness, and it's real. Based on a book about the deadly tragedy that engulfed towns and trailer parks and countless dry acres of forest, The Lost Bus was really well scripted and expertly directed by Paul Greengrass in incendiary, You Are There fashion. And not only did he give us a real-life thriller, Greengrass, who directed 3 Jason Bourne movies and Captain Phillips, he was unafraid to pull punches about PG&E's complicity in the fire, nailing the macro tragedy of the calamity as it ramps up, and still able to hone in on the personal drama of McKay, Ludwig, and the kids on the bus as the trip unfolds. Wow, pretty potent,
pretty intense. Exactly.
It's in theaters now, and it'll be available for streaming on Apple TV Plus October 3rd. So if you have a subscription, it's on the way, and I highly recommend it. Another Apple TV product, if you will, is All of You. It's a sweet romantic drama with a sci-fi premise that seems only days away, frankly. It's about Simon and Laura, a British man and woman who met when they were in college, became BFFs while never taking, let's call it the leap into a sexual relationship, and have remained devoted to each other. They seem kind of like the perfect couple, yet they never admit the true depth of their feelings to one another. So Simon keeps his yap shut when Laura decides to take a trendy, scientifically formulated test to find her soulmate and ends up marrying this guy. Still, the unresolved feelings between Simon and Laura linger, and that puts them in a quandary. All of You works beautifully, even if the story might not take the obvious turns one would expect. And its biggest strengths are its 2 leads. Brett Goldstein, best known as the surly veteran soccer striker Roy Kent on Ted Lasso, and the winsome Imogene Poots. Goldstein, who co-wrote the script to All of You with the film's director William Bridges, brings his trademark rough charm to Simon, while Poots delivers kind of appealing earthiness and warmth as the adorable girl next door grown-up Laura. All of You is never saccharine and never false. The soulmate test notwithstanding, again, that's the sci-fi element. But again, this stuff, we're online all the time, and systems are reading our likes and dislikes, and it's not too much of a stretch to imagine that there will be some manner of this in the near future. I recommend it for softies, cynics, anyone with a little romance in their heart.
Oh,
It's in theaters, and it's also, as of today, now streaming on Apple TV Plus.
how nice.
You know what? Let's wrap up the movie segment by talking very briefly about a revival, a restored 1954 French romantic comedy drama called School for Love. And one reason this is so fascinating to me, and I enjoyed watching it, it's like a little slice of life from a more innocent time. It stars Jean Marais, who was the star of Jean Cocteau's Beauty and the Beast. He played the Beast in the original great, fanciful, groundbreaking, visually stunning Beauty and the Beast, La Belle et la Bête. And Marais, by the way, was Cocteau's lover, but that didn't stop him from being a leading man back in the day. And he co-stars with a young Brigitte Bardot, who is brunette in this film and exudes a sort of innocence, but at the same time, sexual power. You could see it bubbling under the surface. This was co-written by director Marc Allegret and filmmaker Roger Vadim, who would marry Bardot and direct her in the steamy movie that made her an international star, And God Created Woman. By the way, a couple wives later, Vadim would also marry Jane Fonda, who starred in his mod 1968 sci-fi satire Barbarella. School for Love is just a fun glimpse at an earlier time. And again, I just enjoyed watching it, and it's available on Prime Video and Apple TV Plus. Yeah,
With the subtitles.
it's in black and white. No, you have to guess what they're saying if you don't speak French.
Well, I was just making the point, Mr.
What?
Sophisticate.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
So everybody, by the way, it's all about the kids in a conservatory in Vienna, a musical conservatory, and they all want to get next to Maret's professor character, who's married to an opera star and suave, and everybody has the hots for him, and that's the basic nature of School for Love, and that's it on the movie front.
Well, you've done a great job, great one. You've come
Thank you.
through with, you want to throw in a TV show real quick?
I'll just say quickly, it wouldn't be Michael Snyder if I didn't say something about superheroics or sci-fi. We mentioned the sci-fi elements of all of you, but Marvel Zombies dropped on Disney Plus. It's an alternate universe 4-part series wherein a zombie plague strikes Earth and many of Marvel's superheroes, forcing uninfected heroes to fight back and seek a cure. It's animated, so you got to be aware of that, but I got a kick out of it, and I just can't help but want to say, Slow Horses is back. Oh my God, more espionage and mystery involving the misfit agents of MI5's Slough House Annex, led by the savvy but slovenly Jackson Lamb, a pivotal, a career role for Gary Oldman. It's the 5th season based on the wonderful books by Mick Herron. And of course, Kristen Scott Thomas is still on board by playing the by-the-book boss at MI5 HQ. God, the Slow Horses, I just love it. I love it without any.
Yeah, it's pretty terrific. I've seen a bunch of season 1. I got to catch up because it really is amazing. And as you say, he's just brilliant in it. Slow Horses season 5. He recommends and reminds you it's out there.
It's on Apple TV Plus. We got a lot of Apple product today.
Marvel Zombies. He really likes that. It's an animated offering, and he recommends that, which is also streaming. School for Love is the 1954 romantic French comedy, slice of life of a simpler time. Jean Marais played the original Beast in Beauty and the Beast, co-stars with Brigitte Bardot. All of You is the sweet romantic drama with a sci-fi element. Michael really likes it, especially if you want a sweet romantic drama. I mean, a little bit of a kind of a pleasant escape. The Lost Bus dramatizes the true story of the school kids being driven through the campfire inferno. You just saw a glimpse, I think, and Albert and Kim were talking about that. For Northern Californians, it really does resonate and even more.
They use a lot of real footage from the actual fire. It is immersive, and it's chilling and really well done.
America Ferrera and Matthew McConaughey in that one. Dead of Winter, Emma Thompson, Judy Greer. He likes that. It takes place, I think, what did you say, in the Dakotas or in the Midwest somewhere?
Yeah, it's in Minnesota.
Emma Thompson and Judy Greer doing good work there. He liked it, even though it's not a perfect movie. He liked it.
It's very entertaining.
Eleanor the Great, directed by Scarlett Johansson. It's her first directorial offering, and it's good. June Squibb is great. The actress in her mid-90s rocks it. That's what I always say, man. I hate this ageism. I mean, people are vital and doing good work into advanced age. Eleanor the Great, it's in theaters now. One Battle After Another is the Paul Thomas Anderson offering. Politics, family drama. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro is in it, and it is terrific.
It is. I'm so glad I wasn't going to crap on any one of these films. Every one of these movies had merit of some sort or another, even if it's only entertainment value.
I love that you made it through. Thank you, Michael Snyder, the Culture Blaster. You can read his musings at thevoicesf.org. You can find him here on Fridays. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael.
Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Love that.